G'day, I'm Peter Sesselmann, and today we're looking at an acoustic bass repair. I got this bass on eBay. It's broken, so needless to say I didn't pay a lot for it. It's a surprisingly nice looking instrument. It has no name or brand written on it, so if anybody out there recognizes it and knows what it is, by all means let me know. Beautifully made. It's got this abalone inlays right around front and back and the headstock, but as I said, there's no markings on the instrument at all. So where's it broken? It's broken right across here where the bridge would sit. And you can see there's a fine crack in the varnish running through here, and you push on it, you can hear movement. So whatever bracings are inside have come loose, and so on and so forth. So obviously I need to open it up to get to the inside. I'm going to take the back off. Taking the front off is unnecessarily complicated, I think. Even taking the back off is going to be a little complex, but not that bad. I'm not sure how I'm going to do the abalone at the back here, if I can rescue what's there, which is unlikely, or I order in some new abalone to put in once I reassemble the bass, or maybe I'll just leave it as a simple binding around the back. It is the back after all, this is the front. As I said, this is not a particularly expensive instrument, so I don't know how much fiddling around it I want to do. I just want to get it looking reasonable and playing again. I reckon it will have a decent tone once it's actually made. I don't know why this broke in the first place. It could be that just the tension of the strings was too much for it, which would think maybe poor design or just badly made that particular day. Glue wasn't holding quite right and hence it snapped, or maybe it's had an impact. Maybe it's fallen over or something has been pushed up against it which cracked the archtop. I don't really know. I know nothing about this instrument. Everything's intact. The bridge, saddle, call it what you want, is in the box. There's also some old strings in there. This thing hasn't been touched, certainly not played, for probably 10 years, 5 to 10 years, it's hard to say. It's got a little bit of mildew and things like that on it, so I'd say it's been in the box for a long time, and the person obviously decided that it's time to get rid of it. It's broken, it's never going to be played again. Correction, it will be played again. Let's get cracking. And then getting behind there with a knife, gently prying the binding, warming, and a gentle tug. You can use the little blade to help pry a little bit, but we don't want to snap it. Most of the binding is now off. There's a little piece left there. So you can see once you get the spatula through there, it gets a bit easier. Then you can warm it up. Now we just got to get this last little bit off here. Oh, there we go, I think. Oh, what are we looking at? Okay, so we have a bit of damage to these here. They're easily replaced. My goodness, what have we got here? So I've done a lot of research online, and I've found that this kind of bracing in an archtop, there's really no reference to it whatsoever. So, and it's got this funny piece here too, which is something that you normally see on a flat top guitar. So I'm thinking that this is probably a company that's made a few flat tops that decided to make an archtop, didn't really know what they were doing, and just kind of made a flat top with the belly, basically. It's a real concoction of qualities, this instrument. It's, some things are just really badly made, and other things are actually quite nicely done, and some of the timbers are quite nice, some of the timbers are really quite bad. So it's a real salad. However, these braces here, I'm going to take them off and I'm going to replace. I think I'm going to cross brace it. It's more common for an archtop that is supposed to produce bass frequencies. That's the cross bracing, so I think I'm going to go with that. Now, the other interesting thing I'm noticing with this guitar is that every time I heat up the glue and try and get it off, it burns my eyes, which makes me think that they've used a cyanoacrylate to assemble it with, which is not really cricket, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be using that. So let's try and get these braces off. Sticky bits of glue off. I'm using a bit of paint stripper just to dissolve that nasty glue they've used on here. So now that the paint stripper has set a little bit, let's use a blade and just scrape the glue off. You can see there's no bracing inside the guitar at this point, bass guitar. And I've made up this X brace, started to shape it a little bit. So you can see the brace is laying in place here at the moment, and it's a pretty close fit. There's a little bit of variance there. So I just take a piece of sandpaper and lay it in between the brace and the top, and then basically sand, and it'll take the shape of the front. So let's see. That goes in there. There we go. Brace is in. Clean off a bit of excess glue. So we're now at the point where I'm going to glue the back on. Now, they use a lot of modern alternatives these days instead of using hide glue or hoof glue. That's fair enough, I suppose, but there's nothing wrong with this old glue, you know, like it works really well. I'm a bit of a fan of it, to be perfectly honest, because it's just so nice to work with. So you can see it's got a little bit of tape on it now. It's only masking tape, and really, the more the better. There's really no point skimping on the tape, to be perfectly honest. Let's clip on there, keep it together. And I found that this works well because the glue is quite slippery. You need to kind of like press and squeeze and work your way around and add a bit more wet glue, and then squeeze it down and tape it, squeeze it down and tape it, work around. With clamps, well, I'm sure that works fine as well. I don't have enough clamps of that style to do this, but I still, even when I did try and do it with clamps, I found that the clamps, they moved and wiggled, and it was really awkward to try and get it lined up. Just so much easier to tape. So that's my suggestion anyway. Do with it what you like. It all looks pretty good. I think that's been a very successful repair, really. So now that the tape is off, I can inspect how the glue joint worked out. And look, it worked out okay for the most of it. This is all pretty good here. And I run my router around to put the binding in. I reckon that's going to be fine. Okay, so the strings are on. As you can see, I haven't fixed up the back yet, but so first thing I noticed is that the bridge has to be set quite high. It's still pushing down quite heavily on the front here. I don't know if this bass was really designed to take the weight of bass strings. It's not a horrible sound. I think it would probably benefit from some flat wound strings. The bronze strings are a bit brittle sounding. I'm noticing a bit of pressure here. That's at the end of the bracing. Oh, crack.